quality of life suffers.
Research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association in April of 2023 found self-fitting hearing aids were as effective as audiologist-fitted devices.
Coming up on your KTTC News today, North America's second highest concentration of helium has been found right here in Minnesota. Plus, the IDF is reporting they've mistakenly killed 3 Israeli hostages. But first, a Rochester man has been sentenced for shooting a 15-year-old boy in March of 2022. Your weekend morning news starts now.
Live from your local news leader, this is KTTC News.
Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Charles Kelly. A Rochester man has been sentenced to 7.5 years in prison for shooting a 15-year-old boy in March of 2022. Stephen Hart, who was 66 at the time, shot the boy in the upper leg after the boy ran from Hart. The boy has since recovered from his injuries. The boy was 15 at the time of the shooting and is now 17. He grew emotional while addressing the court, saying he now struggles with his dignity and relationships. Since the shooting, the boy says he still feels pain in his lower body. He compared himself to a target instead of a human being. The boy said he understands why his actions of pulling out a knife during a confrontation led Hart to shoot him and that he forgives Hart, but still thinks Hart should face consequences. Hart was also emotional as the victim addressed him in the impact statement. Hart's defense attorney said he is remorseful for his actions. In a memorandum, the defense asked for mental health treatment. Hart was taken into custody. He will serve his time at Minnesota Correction Facility in St. Cloud. A third of his sentence will be served as supervised release. Meanwhile, a Leroy man will spend 10 years in prison after pleading guilty to a felony offense involving a minor. This all happened while he was registered as a sex offender. Richard Van Dierwoord was sentenced this week in U.S. District Court. Back in April, court records show the 63-year-old knowingly attempted to send obscene material to a minor through a web-based app. This happened in February 2020 while Van Dierwoord reached out to who thought was a 14-year-old girl in Tennessee. He was actually communicating with an undercover FBI agent. Court documents showed Van Dierwoord shared sexual explicit materials, including photos of himself. An FBI investigation led to his arrest. An update this morning in the custody battle for Madeline Kingsbury's children. Both parties, Kingsbury's father and stepmom, and the parents of the children's father, have withdrawn their respective motions. Madeline Kingsbury went missing in March of this year. Authorities discovered her remains in June. The children's father, Adam Fravel, is in jail, charged with Madeline's murder. Winona County originally gained custody of the children and put them under the care of Kingsbury's father and stepmom. The case has officially been closed on November 20th, though it is unclear exactly where the children are now. Late Friday night, we learned of a crash on 55th Street Northwest. This is a photo KTTC took from the scene. No word on any injuries yet this morning. We'll keep you posted as we learn more information today. All right, now let's take a look at the weather. Our meteorologist David Burgett is out on the weather patio. Just wanted to start by saying happy belated birthday, David. You got to see some nicer temperatures on your birthday. Will those be lasting through the weekend?
Thanks, Charles. I really do appreciate that. We did see some nice temperatures this week and some more sunny skies. Temperatures pretty sure in the upper 40s and lower 50s the last 2 days, or at least the last 24 hours. And we are going to be seeing some rain this morning and a little bit some more milder temperatures rather than the 40s for today. So we're going to be seeing temperatures into the upper 30s, but lots of rain right now on our radar going across the I-35 corridor, eastern portions of I-90 into Winona County, even through Hancock County and Freeborn this morning. So we are seeing some light rain, more moderate up north of Mankato in Minnesota. Light rainfall at the moment. We are seeing our radar estimated rainfall right now around about 1/4 inch into Goodhue County and still along the I-35 corridor. Everywhere else so far, radar estimated has picked up for rainfall, about less than 1/10 of an inch. So this is all from a low pressure system that's sitting off towards our area. It's inching its way towards here in Rochester, but we are going to be seeing that slide on more south into Iowa for today, bringing us a chance for some showers throughout the morning. So that low pressure system was going to deepen or get a little stronger as it goes into Iowa for us. And we are going to be seeing temperatures this morning into the upper 30s and mid-30s all across the region. At the moment, we are going to be seeing for today some spot chance for those rain showers to continue through this morning and into the afternoon, with temperatures into the upper 30s, maybe peaking into the lower 40s for us here in Olmsted County. So not going to be so much into the lower 50s as we saw the other day, in upper 40s, but we're going to be kind of cooling off in about 10 degrees here.
Thank you, David. Wildfire season isn't typically thought of as going into December, but our warm weather and extreme lack of precipitation has the Minnesota DNR advising caution. KTTC's Quinn Gorham reports.
If I had asked you a couple of months ago what month this was taking place in, my guess is you wouldn't have said immediately December. There's little to no snow on the ground, and a light coat is enough to keep you warm. It's nice for us warm-blooded folks, but the DNR says it's a recipe for disaster. Karen Harrison with the Minnesota DNR says the conditions right now are the perfect recipe for a wildfire. Unusually warm weather, no precipitation, and dormant leafless plants could all contribute to the rapid spread of a wildfire if one were to ignite. Harrison says this winter has been an outlier. She says the state hasn't had an elevated winter fire risk like this since around 2011. Needless to say, it's been an atypical winter, and as nice as the warm weather has been, it's a reminder to be smart with your fire safety.
Right now, we're asking, folks to wait for conditions to change or until we do have more snow. In most counties, there needs to be a minimum of 3 inches of snow. We're not required to burn.
Harrison says it's not as much about fires in enclosed pits and spaces as it is a warning for campfires in other open spaces. There is a band of precipitation that's expected to arrive in the state sometime Friday, but the DNR says there needs to be a decent amount of snow on the ground in order for that risk to be completely eliminated. Reporting in St. Paul, I'm Quinn Gorham.
Harrison says this year's El Niño is likely partially to blame for this year's weather patterns. And then there was one. A finalist for Minnesota's new state flag was chosen Friday evening. There's still some design work that needs to be done, but soon a new flag will fly over the North Star State. One of these variations of F1953 will likely be flying over the state capitol next year. The state emblem's redesign commission will finalize exactly what the flag looks like. But this is the design they've picked out. The long-winded process saw 2 rounds of elimination Friday afternoon. F1953 received the most votes in both rounds and emerged as the favorite by a vote of 10-2 in the final round. The final design will likely feature a different star from the original design, more in line with contemporary design. The commission's next meeting is on Tuesday, so stay tuned. And one Rochester business is helping people who have possibly never been able to ride a bike get on the road for the first time. New Spin Bike Shop in Rochester is selling adaptive bikes. These are bikes designed specifically to match the needs of people who deal with mobility issues. The shop is able to customize these bikes with different features and adjustments to fit any number of needs a customer may have. All this to help its customers get back on their bike or to help them ride a bike for the first time.
The most exciting part about these adaptive tricycles is seeing the smile on someone's face when they're actually doing this for the first time. It just opens up their world to be able to oftentimes move, get fresh air, go on a bike ride even with a family that maybe they haven't been able to do for a long time or maybe ever. So many times it's life-changing.
The bike shop says it's looking to partner with schools in the Rochester area to provide these bikes to students and their families. It's also working EA Therapeutic Health in Rochester to provide bikes to its clients. It's virus season, and one eastern Iowa district is getting hit hard. As Emily Moss reports, classes in Janesville schools are being held online to try and stop the spread of germs.
It's virus season, and for one Eastern Iowa school, it's hitting hard.
We're getting COVID, we're getting a lot of pink eye, we're getting a lot of strep.
The Janesville School District is virtual through Friday after dozens of students and staff were out sick over the last week.
Tuesday, we started the day with, I think we were at 50 before 8 o'clock, and it torpedoed. I mean, we got to 100 and I think it was 127 was our final count. And in a school that's just over 500 students, that's about 25% of our student body.
Superintendent B.J. Meany says it was not an easy decision.
You know, we had 70 kids sick, but we had 400 and some not sick. And those 400 kids have parents who have jobs, who have responsibilities, and they rely on the school to be open.
Inside the school, the district's custodial workers are sanitizing the entire building. Using these machines, they're spraying down every inch, ensuring student and staff safety when they return.
We're hoping that'll give enough time to kind of get through some of the homes, and then on Friday we're ready to roll.
Although the choice was hard, Meany's hopeful parents will understand.
It's a hard issue. Everybody's got a different opinion. They're all right, and so I just appreciate their work on through this difficult situation.
We are making a transition to the future at our KTTC studios, and it all started on Friday. If you drive north or south on Highway 52, you've most likely spotted the KTTC radar dome above our studio in Northwest Rochester. Friday morning, crews removed the dome as we prepared for an exciting signal expansion in Olmsted County. For decades, the radar and dome sat above the station. As radar technology improved, the radar itself was phased out of use at KTTC, but the dome remains. So while we miss seeing the 8 by 12-foot dome, we're excited to prepare for new technology at our tower along Bandle Road to help improve our signal in Rochester and Olmsted County. As we look ahead to 2024, we are getting ready for the 70th annual KTTC Eagles 5th District Cancer Telethon. This is a big anniversary year as we come together to raise money for cancer research. All the money raised stays right here in southeastern Minnesota to benefit research at Mayo Clinic, the Hormel Institute, and the University of Minnesota. We hope you'll join us on January 13th and 14th as we raise hope and awareness for cancer research. And still ahead on your news today, North America's second highest concentration of helium has been found, and it's been found right here in Minnesota. We'll tell you more on what they're finding just after the break. Welcome back at 6:15 on your Saturday morning. North America's second highest concentration of helium has been found right in Minnesota. A company is now spending millions exploring the deposit found near Babbitt. Madison Green has more.
One of the highest concentrated helium gas deposits in history was discovered on the Iron Range near Babbitt in 2011.
We are a rock mining people, and this is a gas. And so that puts it in a new category of natural resource, something that we've not explored commercially in this region ever before.
Pulsar Helium took over the discovery in 2019 and since then has invested $3 million seeking more information themselves to determine whether or not the helium is worth extracting. Iron Range political analyst Aaron Brown says the extraction of this new to the region natural resource does not necessarily mean the creation of new jobs for the surrounding communities.
New plants hire as few workers as possible. And that's not to say no workers. It's just that we don't know how many workers will be attached to this yet.
The community may soon get its answer.
In February, we're going off back to the discovery location, and within just a matter of feet, we'll be drilling another borehole there, another well.
Further testing will help determine more about the deposit itself, like how big is the hole, how much helium is actually in it, and confirmation of its concentration.
Picture, if you will, a water bore, so a hole in the ground, except with this one, there'd be no water. You'd have gas coming out. It would be coming out of its own accord. So no fracking, nothing like that. Gas comes out of the ground. It then goes into a processing unit.
As long as Pulsar Helium continues to provide a clear picture of what is happening, Brown believes the community will be receptive.
One of the ways to win over the winnable the people in the middle of the road who are maybe skeptical but are open to the idea, is to just be clear and honest and descriptive in what you plan to do.
Here's your first alert weather with meteorologist David Burgett.
Well, what do you know? Another warm one out there this morning with temperatures already into the 30s. That's way above average for this time of year, but we're seeing some rain. I don't think we've seen rain in quite a long time here. It feels like that at least. I think we were dry all this week, and we are seeing some light to moderate amounts of rainfall right now across the radar. Really moving through more Fillmore County this morning and in through Howard right now, through Cresco too, on the I-90 corridor, eastern portions of there, and then even through west and portions of I-90 and through I-35. More moderate rainfall really towards Minneapolis here, just actually southwest near Mankato at the moment. So this is all from a low pressure system this morning that's actually moving off towards our area, but it's going to be kind of transitioning more down south into Iowa over the next few hours, 24 hours really, or 12 hours to give us some more light rainfall through this morning and bringing more rain to central Iowa later for today. We are going to be seeing some visibility issues at the moment with this rainfall. If you're in Albert Lee, Mason City, along this I-35 corridor, we're going to see anywhere from 7 to 5 miles worth of visibility, and even there into Red Wing. As we go through the morning, we could be seeing, with this rainfall, we could be seeing some patchy fog developing out there, so just be cautious of that if you're on the roads later this morning into the afternoon. 36 degrees right now, way above average in terms of our overnight lows. Cloudy conditions are helping us keep a little bit warmer across the region with temperatures into the upper 30s and mid 30s across the region there, 40 in La Crosse. We are going to be seeing for today some possible fog developing, like I said, through the morning hours into the afternoon. But by we get to Sunday, we are going to see some mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies for tomorrow and more milder temperatures. But late next week, we are going to be warming up to potentially the 40s again for our temperatures. So tracking this out for you this morning, according to this model, we are getting a lot of rainfall across the region this morning. As we go through the afternoon, we are going to be drying out through the later morning hours. So that's when you can see the rainfall start to dissipate. Winds will primarily be out of the northwest for us into the I-35 corridor, shifting more to the west by Sunday night. Temperatures will be into the lower 30s. We'll start to see some cloud coverage tomorrow morning start to dissipate through the morning hours and into the afternoon, with temperatures bouncing back up into the upper 30s and lower 40s. So our temperature trend over the next few days, we're going to actually drop on Monday to about 25 degrees. So we're going to be right around the average or below. But as we get through this week, we are going to be seeing the mid to lower 40s for us by Wednesday through Friday. And as we make our way towards Christmas, everyone's wondering, are we going to be seeing a white Christmas? Well, about 9 to 10 days out now, we are going to be seeing potentially a small chance for that 15 to 25%. Usually our average for a white Christmas here in Rochester is just over 3/4 or 75%. So with these warmer temperatures on the way and this temperature trend, it's unlikely that we are going to be seeing that. But our forecast for today is going to be 39 degrees. We are going to be seeing some rainfall through this morning and potentially those overcast skies sticking with us for some fog for this afternoon and this morning. We are going to be seeing for tomorrow some breakage in the cloud coverage for tomorrow and for some more sunshine in the forecast, but breezy on Monday, and we are going to have warmer temperatures and a temperature trend that's going to warm up, like you know, on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and some showers on Friday, the 22nd.
Wow, so is Monday more of like the average during winter kind of temperatures, and then we're going to jump back up to above average?
Yeah, just around there. So.
Wow, and like even yesterday, it's like all I had to put on was my hoodie and a vest, and I was comfortable outside. I didn't even need my winter coat.
No, you didn't even need your winter coat outside at all, especially the last few days. I think we hit the low 50s, so wow. It's kind of topsy-turvy here, if you ask me.
Yeah. All right, thanks, David. And still to come, an important announcement for those who love Diet Coke. The company is recalling almost 2,000 cases. We'll tell you what they're finding when we return. .24, your time on your Saturday morning. As temperatures continue to drop, it can have a significant impact on your skin, whether you have a pre-existing condition or not. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has tips to protect your body's largest organ throughout the winter months.
It's the season of dry skin. If you're feeling the itch, you're not alone.
We have the heat running inside, and then the humidity levels also drop. leaving the air and skin pretty parched.
Dermatologist Shilpi Katerpal with Cleveland Clinic says eczema can flare up in the wintertime, but your skin can feel dry whether you have a pre-existing condition or not. She says the first line of defense is a humidifier.
You want to set it to at least 50% high or higher, and that can push some of that moisture back into the skin.
Ditch the long, hot showers that can add to dryness, opting for shorter, lukewarm ones instead, and use mild, fragrance-free soap that moisturizes.
After your shower, you want to pat dry instead of rubbing your skin. By rubbing, it increases friction, and then friction is going to strip the skin of that moisture and also increase dryness.
Within 5 minutes of drying off, Katerpal says it's time to moisturize to help keep skin healthy and hydrated.
You want to look for fragrance-free lotions that contain an ingredient called ceramide. Ceramide is what's going to help to repair the skin barrier and trap that water in the skin.
Finally, watch how you wash your clothes. Katerpal says buy detergents and fabric softeners that are fragrance-free.
A lot of that fragrance can be trapped in the skin, and if that's touching us daily, that can lead to more irritation and make eczema worse.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
If your winter dryness turns into a visible rash, or if you have areas of red, scaly, and itchy skin that are not getting better, it's time to see a dermatologist who can prescribe medications to help. An experimental cancer vaccine is showing benefits against fighting melanoma skin cancer. That's what drug makers said this week, 3 years after receiving the mRNA modern vaccine along with Merck's Keytruda immunotherapy. Participants had an almost 50% lower risk of it coming back or death. About a quarter of participants reported serious adverse events related to the treatment. Moderna's CEO says the company is preparing for the therapy to be approved as soon as 2025. He says they are building a new commercial manufacturing plant to be ready. The therapies have not been peer-reviewed or published in a professional journal yet. According to the American Cancer Society, melanoma accounts for about 1% of all skin cancers, but it causes a majority of skin cancer deaths. And listen up if you love Diet Coke. You may want to rethink your daily intake of soda because nearly 2,000 cases of Diet Coke, Sprite, and Fanta Orange have been recalled due to possible foreign material in the cans. The Food and Drug Administration says the impacted beverages were pulled from stores in Alabama, Mississippi, and Florida. Neither Coca-Cola nor the FDA have released information about what the material is inside the cans. The cases of soda came from United Packers LLC based in Mobile, Alabama. The recall began on November 6th, and officials say there are no more affected cans on the market. But the FDA is warning customers to check their homes for any of the recalled items by checking the UPC codes on the agency's website. And when we come back, the latest with the conflict in the Middle East. The IDF is reporting they've mistakenly killed 3 Israeli hostages. We'll tell you what you need to know when we come back. The U.S. is urging Israel to cut back on its large-scale ground campaign in Gaza and instead of focus more on targeted attacks. But so far, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is showing no sign he will back down, vowing to continue the fight until Hamas is destroyed. It comes as the battle over funding for Israel and Ukraine continues on Capitol Hill. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
Amid an unrelenting assault on the Gaza Strip, the Biden administration is growing more direct in trying to sway Israel's approach to rooting out Hamas. 2 U.S. officials telling NBC News the administration has told the Israeli government it wants it to end its large-scale ground campaign in Gaza and move to a new phase centered on targeted airstrikes and raids. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan meeting today with the Palestinian Authority president after talks with Israeli officials.
There will be a transition to another phase of this war, one that is focused in more precise ways on targeting the leadership and on intelligence-driven operations.
President Biden weighed in Thursday after rebuking Israel's, quote, indiscriminate bombing in Gaza.
I want them to be focused on how to save civilian lives, not stop going after Hamas, but be more careful.
Israel has been dropping leaflets warning of strike zones and insists it's doing all it can to protect civilians. The parents of a 7-year-old Palestinian girl told NBC News she was killed by a bomb fragment while sleeping in a tent in Rafah near the Egyptian border after Israeli warnings to flee the city of Khan Yunis. Of the 29,000 bombs Israel has dropped on Gaza since the October 7th Hamas terror attack, nearly half have been unguided and less precise dumb bombs. That's according to a U.S. intelligence assessment shared with Congress, two sources told NBC News. On Capitol Hill, Senate negotiators trying to strike a deal for more aid to Israel, as well as Ukraine and the U.S. southern border by the end of the year.
It's an aggressive schedule, but this is an emergency.
They're hoping for a Senate vote next week.
Sticking with the conflict in the Middle East, Israel Defense Forces reported it mistakenly killed 3 Israelis held hostage in Gaza on Friday. The 3 were apparently targeted after being mistaken as Hamas militants. A spokesperson for the IDF says they now believe the 3 men either fled or were abandoned by terrorists. The Israeli War Cabinet Minister said, "My heart is broken." During a briefing, a government spokesperson said all 3 were taken hostage during the October 7th raid by Hamas into Israel.
We can tell you that just in the last 24 hours, we've informed the public of 3 bodies that we returned from Hamas captivity. Corporal Nick Beiser and Sergeant Ron Sherman, who were abducted on October 7th, and Ilya Toledano, age 28, abducted from the Nova Music Festival.
The number of hostages killed since the start of the Israel-Gaza war is now 8. Now let's get a check-in on the weather. Our meteorologist David Burgett is on the weather patio. Good morning, David. You know, we actually were seeing some nicer temperatures this morning in the 30s. So how is that going to look for the rest of the day?
Well, Charles, we are going to see some rain this morning and some overcast skies that are keeping our temperatures pretty warm into the low 30s this morning, which is way above average for us here in December here in southeastern Minnesota, to say the least. So this morning we are seeing some light rainfall across our radar along portions of I-35. If you go a little bit more westward towards Mankato, we are going to see more moderate portions of some rain showers there, and we are going to see some light rain make its way through into Winona County and then through Cresco and into Fillmore County there where Preston is. So we are seeing some rainfall this morning for us here, and that's going to continue throughout the morning hours and start to dissipate towards the later morning hours for us here on Saturday. That low pressure system that's moving off towards our way into the Rochester area is actually going to move down more southward into northeast Iowa and into central Iowa, bringing some more rainfall chances for more of our southern state right there, so right to our neighboring south there. So we are going to be seeing some warmer temperatures for this morning, up into more into the 30s for us here, mid to upper 30s for us, 40 in La Crosse. Our temperature planner for today, we are going to be peaking into the high 30s, 39 to 40 degrees for us here. So not like we were in the low 50s the other day, but we are going to be taking a tumble down as we get through the evening hours and potentially into the 30s around the freezing mark by 6 a.m. for your Sunday morning for the start of your new week. I'll let you know how warm we're going to get this week coming up in my forecast, so you don't want to miss it.
Thank you, David. Dueling campaign events with dueling messages. Just 1 month before the 2024 presidential election kicks off in Iowa. Frontrunner Donald Trump and young upstart Vivek Ramaswamy both pushing conspiracy theories on the trial. Trump speaking in Coralville, Iowa, while Ramaswamy attended a town hall hosted by CNN in Des Moines. Jessica Dean has the latest.
We're just 33 days away from Iowa, first in the nation. I wonder how you got that. You got that because of me.
Former President Donald Trump sharpening his closing message to voters in Iowa, mocking his GOP rivals.
So we're leading with 51%, while Ron DeSanctimonious is at less than 19 and Haley is at 16. What happened to the Haley surge? You know, there's a surge going on.
And launching attacks on President Biden over his fitness.
It's just incredible that he can frankly be even running anything. He can't put 2 sentences together.
And his handling of the economy.
Families all across America are struggling under the brutal weight of Bidenomics. You know, Bidenomics means a lot of bad things.
Trump's rally coming on the heels of what his campaign called a big win in the federal election case against him. U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkin deciding to pause the proceedings while appeals over Trump's immunity unfold. The pause potentially delaying the start of the March 2024 trial, with the Supreme Court also agreeing to expedite consideration of the special counsel's request to rule on the immunity issue.
They're fighting like hell because they want to try and get a guilty plea from the Supreme Court of the United States, which I can't imagine because you have presidential immunity. But strange things happen.
Meanwhile, at a CNN town hall in Des Moines last night, Vivek Ramaswamy repeatedly trying to appeal to Trump's base, even defending his embrace of a January 6th conspiracy theory.
If you had told me that January 6th was in any way an inside job, the subject of government entrapment, I would have told you that was crazy talk. Fringe conspiracy theory nonsense. I can tell you now, having gone somewhat deep in this, it's not. The reality is we know that there were federal law enforcement agents in that field. We don't know how many. I think it's shameful. If I may finish just answering,
well, let me
this is really important.
I'm going to go ahead and interrupt you here because
I know this, the establishment doesn't approve of this message. I know
that there were federal
agents. We should be able to talk about this.
You're saying that there were federal agents.
This is important to talk about.
You are saying there were federal agents in the crowd on January 6th.
Yep.
There is no evidence that there were federal agents in the crowd on January 6th.
The Biden-Harris campaign blasting Ramaswamy, saying, quote, his town hall tonight was an exercise in bombastic rhetoric, offering zero solutions to the real issues that Americans demand action on.
The Pennsylvania State House Republicans are looking to punish the University of Pennsylvania for its response to anti-Semitism. GOP members are trying to cut funding to the UPenn School of Veterinary Medicine. While UPenn is a private institution and does not rely on state funding, the vet school has received financial support from the state for more than a century. Legislation that would provide the school with more than $31 million had already been approved by the state Senate, controlled by Republicans, with bipartisan support. But the bill failed to reach the necessary two-thirds majority in the House. Every Democrat voted in favor, while most, but not all Republicans, voted against. The Supreme Court has agreed to hear an appeal from a man accused in the January 6th attack on the Capitol. The justices will look at whether part of the federal obstruction law can be used to prosecute Joseph Fisher. He was charged with multiple federal crimes for his role in the attack. The issue at hand is a specific provision of the law, which makes it a crime for anyone who obstructs, influences, or impedes any official proceedings, and what the government must prove with regard to intent. The court's decision could impact hundreds of criminal cases, even the one pending against former President Donald Trump. A ruling is expected next summer. Western officials are warning Ukraine is certain to fail without more U.S. aid. This comes as an aid package continues to stall in Congress. Kyiv, an ongoing counteroffensive in the east and south, where forces have struggled to make progress. A European diplomat says they don't know if they'll be able to succeed without more aid from the U.S. and Europe. One senior U.S. military official estimated Ukraine would only be able to hold on for months. They say a worst-case scenario would be a significant setback or even defeat by summer. The United Kingdom's highest court ruled Friday that Prince Harry was a victim of phone hacking by Mirror Group newspapers. The Duke of Sussex sued the publisher of the Daily Mirror, the Sunday Mirror, and the Sunday People. He alleged their journalists used illicit means like phone hacking or private investigators to gather information about his life over a 15-year period. The judge found that to be in the case in 15 of the 33 stories submitted for consideration. Back in June, Prince Harry testified the articles played a destructive role in his adolescence. He was aware of $180,000 in damage. Prince Harry called the win a great day for truth and accountability. And don't go anywhere because Julian Mitchell will have our Week of Sports just after the break.
Good morning, friends. I'm Julian Mitchell. We're going to get started here on the mat. The Minnesota Christmas Tournament is underway. Day one of action. Let's take a look at how some of the wrestlers performed there on day one of this Christmas tournament. Going to start at second-ranked 160 wrestler Luke Swanson. Started his bout with a bang. Picked up a pin of Dominic Party, making quick work of him there. And male's 9th-ranked Ethan Pepper defeated Alex Mock, the second-round pin. Pepper won all his matches by fall. So we're going on to day two today of this Christmas tournament at Mayo Civic Center of highlights of the finals so you can win some Santa hats tonight in sports. Last of the NFL, big Saturday. The Vikings are set to face the Cincinnati Bengals. Both teams 7-6, both running with backup QBs in Nick Mullins and Jake Browning. Should be an interesting game. Vikings trying to hold on to a playoff spot. Kickoff is set for noon on NFL Network. That is a look at sports. It's a good day. Have a great day.
This is your first alert weather with meteorologist David Burgate.
A warm and soggy one this morning across southeastern Minnesota and northeast Iowa. You know, it's pretty much winter at this point, but it's kind of feeling like a spring morning to me, at least around here in Rochester. So we are seeing some light rain right now and some showers all throughout the region at the moment. We are seeing some lighter rain along I-35, some more moderate, like a little cluster here near Mankato in southwest of Minneapolis here, and we are seeing some rain come through Winona County and into Fillmore County here and through northeast Iowa. So some rainfall will be with us this morning into the afternoon hours potentially, but it's from a low pressure system here that's going to move more southward, potentially combined with this one over here to deepen a little bit for some heavier rain chances there into more central Iowa for us, or for them at least. So we are going to be seeing some visibility issues with this rainfall this morning, just 7 miles worth of visibility along the I-35 corridor in there in Red Wing. As we go through this morning into the afternoon, we could be seeing some patchy fog developing. So if you're going to be out this morning, just take it a little bit slower on the roads if you do run into some fog. So overcast skies right now are keeping our temperatures warmer around the mid-30s for us, which is way above average for this time of year. We are going to be seeing some temperatures into the mid to upper 30s and 40 there for the outlier there in La Crosse. So what to expect for today, we are going to be seeing that rain start to subside towards the early morning hours and potential for some fog. And for Sunday, we're going to see a little bit more milder temperatures potentially and some more sunshine into the afternoon hours for some mostly cloudy skies. By late next week, we are going to be seeing a temperature trend where we could be potentially back in the 40s as we head towards Christmas. So this morning, we are going to be seeing that rainfall kind of make its way through our region, start to die out towards the noon hour for Saturday. But as we make our way through the day, we're going to go from the 30s, start to slowly trickle down to the mid 30s, and then decreasing cloud coverage slowly through tomorrow morning. We're going to be in the lower 30s around the freezing point here in Rochester, then bounce back up with winds out of the northwest into the upper 30s and lower 40s for us across the region for your Sunday. So for today, we are going to be, for our temperature outlook, we are going to be above average. The Climate Prediction Center is predicting us to be above average in terms of our temperatures heading towards Christmas. So about 100% chance for us to see above average temperatures, and even after that, heading into the last portion of the year, heading towards New Year. So warm temperatures on the way, 9 days until Christmas. So it's not looking too great that we are going to be seeing a white Christmas here in southeastern Minnesota. There's only a small chance, about maybe even a quarter of a chance here. Typically, our average chance is about 75 to 77% for a white Christmas, so it's not looking ideal here for that. But for today, we are going to be seeing some overcast skies, rain in the morning, fog developing potentially as the rain goes through the early morning hours and into the later afternoon. But some clearing for tomorrow in terms of the forecast, and we are going to be seeing temperatures into the upper 30s again like today. So maybe potentially a little bit more mild with the sunshine doesn't come through for tomorrow. But this week we are going to be seeing a drop on Monday in terms of our temperature there at 25 degrees for the high and windier conditions, but warming through the rest of the week.
I know some of those people are a little upset that they haven't seen the snow and in preparation for the holidays. I know, with these warmer temperatures, it doesn't feel like Christmas is already happening in a week and a half.
No, I mean, everything just runs together at this point, especially when the New Year's stretch comes around, man.
Yes.
Everything just kind of goes through that little moment of time. You're like, what's going on? What
Right.
week is it?
Yeah, right. All right, thanks, David. And when we return, mortgage rates are dropping for the first time since mid-August. What you need to know just after the break. 6:54 your time on this Saturday morning. As you're out and about or behind a keyboard doing your holiday shopping, have a budget and stick to it. Easier said than done, right? In this Watching Your Wallet, consumer investigator Rachel DePompa gets advice from a financial advisor on how you can be mindful about your holiday spending.
Holiday sales are well underway and a lot of us are still shopping. Michael Joyce with the financial firm Agili says try to price compare and find good deals. He says credit cards are convenient and you may even get rewards and points, but if you're not going to pay off the bills right away in that 30-day window, think about paying with cash during the holidays to try to curb your impulse buys.
The impulse buying is very tempting, and you really want to avoid that. You want to really track with what you plan to spend, and I'm sure whatever that you do get will be well liked by the recipient in any case.
It's important to remind yourself each week how much you are setting aside in your budget for holiday shopping, but if you do have to use a credit card, it's also important to plan how you are going to pay that debt back and quickly.
Because it doesn't hurt right when you put on the credit card, it doesn't hurt, but when you open your credit card statement a couple months later, it's sometimes tough to pay for that.
He says you don't want to be in a situation where you're opening up your credit card statement in January going, what did I do? How am I going to pay for this? The longer a debt sits on your card, the more you're actually paying for that item you first bought in November or December because of all the interest you accrue. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
Some welcome news for potential home buyers. For the first time since mid-August, mortgage rates fell to less than 7% this week. According to data released Friday by Freddie Mac, the rate dropped to an average of 6.95%. That's down from 7.3% the previous week. This marks the 7th straight week the rates have gone down. The Federal Reserve has been pausing its rate increases because inflation has been improving. And since mortgage rates are expected to keep falling, the Fed has been signaling rate cuts may be coming next year. And time for a break, but don't go anywhere because when we return, we'll get a final check on the weather. Welcome back. Santa Claus looked more like Spider-Man or Batman this Friday.
He brought cheer to Children's Hospital in Colorado Springs.
He rappelled from the roof down the face of the hospital buildings as patients and their families watched from their rooms. A small crowd also gathered outside. Two of Santa's helpers, dressed like him, made separate descents down the building. The appearance was part of the hospital's 4th annual Christmas parade past the hospital. About 100 families currently have kids being treated at the hospital. Organizers say the rappelling could become an annual holiday event. So what a nice thing for Santa to be doing for those children, kind of up their holiday spirits.
Yeah, it looks like he shed a few pounds there to rappel down that building.
And what's the weather looking like today?
Well, really quickly here, we are going to be seeing some AM showers for today. Some patchy fog could develop through the morning hours into the afternoon, but really a warming trend as we get to Wednesday this week, back in the 40s.
All right, a little crazy that we're seeing some rain instead of snow in December.
Yes, instead of snow.
All right, have a great rest of your Saturday.